Hey everyone, my name's Dustin. Today we are working on my wife's van. The problem is right down here there is a bushing on both sides that has failed. So we need to crawl up underneath, drop the skid plate, replace those bushings, and do a little bit of other minor maintenance. Let's get to it. This is a 2007 Chrysler Town and Country minivan with 184,000 miles on the odometer. This van's been pretty reliable. The issue is the rust, and it is rusting out bad. It is in this year's financial budget for us to replace this van. However, I want to keep it running as long as possible. That way, if some unexpected expense comes up and we can't purchase a new vehicle, we still have this one. So right back here is the bushing that needs to be replaced. Now this is the passenger side, and the passenger side isn't as bad as the driver's side, but I'm gonna replace both of them anyway because the whole plate, this is the plate right here that has to drop. Once this skid plate / brace plate is dropped, then this lower control arm will actually just drop down and you can replace that bushing pretty easily. My biggest concern here with this whole project is I believe there are 14 bolts that need to come out. And judging by the amount of rust on this van, I'm afraid this is gonna be a fight. And after removing the driver's side tire as well, we can easily see this bushing is much worse. The outside piece of the bushing has actually become delaminated and has actually slid out of the hole that it should be in. So every time this vehicle hit a bump or had to stop abruptly, you would hear that lower control arm nub slap up against the steel. So let's see if we can get those bushings replaced. Replacing the actual bushings, pretty simple. They just pop off, pop on. But I'm worried about that bracket underneath that needs to come off. All right, the vehicle is up on jack stands and I put the tire underneath as well as a 4x4 just in case the jack stands fail. That wasn't jacked up high enough. Let's get the van up a little higher. Oh yeah, that gives a lot more room to work. So I just put peanut butter blaster on everything I could reach. All right, we're gonna try to get this bolt off right here. Oh, it's loose. Hey, that wasn't so bad. I hope that's not a false sense of how this is gonna go. But there we go. Bolt and nut. Both 21 millimeters. 21 millimeter socket, 21 millimeter wrench. I'm gonna put this back in just loosely so this plate doesn't fall after it's loose. This is going too easy so far. Those last frame bolts are gonna be just a bear, I bet. Here we got one random 18 millimeter. Now it looks like there's a few 10 millimeters here, holding up what looks to be like an oil cooler. Not sure if there are nuts on the back of these or not. Ooh. Well, whatever this is, it broke off. Looks like one of the bolts broke off before already. That'd be this one. This is the one I just broke off. Not sure what this thing is. It's just floating here. These will probably break off too. That one broke off. And that one broke off. All right, well, every 10 millimeter under here broke. Let's try these 15 millimeters. We got two 15 millimeter bolts right here. They do not appear to have nuts on them. Oh yeah, that popped right out. That's good. Well, this, I think this plate's gonna fall a little bit. Yep, it did. Just a little. Okay, those weren't a big deal. Those came off pretty easily. Here we go, those came out no problem. So all that's left are these two big ones on the outside. And everything I've seen online says those are the hardest to get off. And let's just see what happens with the impact. Not a chance. Yeah, not a chance. What about this other one? No, that's not happening. All right, let's try a breaker bar. Oh man. Oh, that's not good. So I'm editing the video now and I just realized I was pulling the breaker bar the wrong way. I was tightening that bolt and not loosening it. So that's probably why it broke. But I guess it is what it is at this point. So yeah, I'm aware I was doing it the wrong way. That was going too smooth. Yeah, it broke off right up inside there. So I crawled up underneath with this bore scope and took a picture of the one that got broken off. Man, that looks crusty. There is so much stuff on the frame rail around there, and it looks like there's some bridging across the nut and the actual bolt. So this is the picture of the driver's side. It doesn't nearly look as bad. Now I've doused these with peanut butter blaster, so I'm gonna try being the key word. Break the driver's side loose. I'm just gonna try to rock it back and forth. Hopefully it's not metal fatigue I'm feeling in the movement. It does feel like it's moving. Well, I got a good 1/6 of a turn on it now, and it's rocking back and forth. So because I got a little bit of movement with the breaker bar, I'm gonna try to use the impact and just run it forward, run it backwards, run it forward, run it backwards. Watch your ears. It's moving. I don't want to get too greedy. It moved a lot though. Put some more peanut butter blaster on it. Ha ha! Wow, that is rusted out like crazy. There's so much of that bolt missing. Well, sweet, at least one side came out. Except why is it still up here? I don't understand. There's no weight on this bolt. How does it come down? So here's what I'm struggling with. This rubber isolator seems to be what's holding up this plate. So the plate is completely loose down here, but it seems to be hung up right there. So I was able to get the driver's side down. The reason the bushing was hanging it up is because the actual bushing itself goes past this plate and up into the subframe or whatever this is. So this side actually came off pretty easy once I understood. I actually found a video on YouTube that I watched of somebody taking one of these apart. So once I understood that, it was pretty easy just to get up there and pry it down. That's really all I needed, was just extra force. Now the issue is with this side where I've got that broken off bolt up in there, I can't get this piece down now. And the reason for that is there is actually a void inside of this rubber bushing here. So basically there's a steel piece on the bottom and it looks like a piece of square tubing is welded into it. Well, the problem on this side is this void here is so packed with stuff that the bolt that's in there and broken off, it's jam-packed around here with crud. So I actually can't get any wiggle out of it. So what I'm trying to do is pick some of that stuff from around that broken bolt. And I've been picking at it here for a few seconds, and there is still so much stuff coming out of there. If I can free up around that bolt a little bit, perhaps I can get this down. I'm hoping if I can get this down, I'll be able to weld a nut onto that broken stud and spin it off. There's the broken bolt. That bolt was actually flush when it broke off. And now it is starting to become visible all the way around. Well, that made a lot of noise. Did it do any good? Oh yeah, that knocked some of that stuff out. Yes! Ha! Got it! Now we've got access to this stud. So here we go. Here's the cross member. And there is the evil, evil bushing that I just spent an hour getting out. Oh, look at how rusted and corroded that is. Look, stuff's still coming out of it. Wow. Well, there we go. It's out. All right, that should have had time to cool down now. Something broke, yeah. It doesn't reach. Dang it. That was my Hail Mary. It's late at night and I want to try to get this done. You're not supposed to weld mild steel to hardened steel, and that's exactly what these saw blades are, is they're hardened steel. Probably not going to work, but I'm not out anything to try it, so let's give it a try. All right, it's only dumb if it doesn't work. It's probably not gonna work, but let's try it anyway. You can see I got a little too hot right there and burned through it. I don't know. Let's give it a try. There it's reaching. Holy cow, it's actually almost all the way through. No way. No way this works. It worked! No way! No way that worked! Well, I lost the piece up in there, but you can see I cut that nub right off. There used to be a bolt going right up into that hole. That's cut off. So now what the plan is to release this vice grip. Now I can pick this bolt straight up. And if I lift the bolt up, you can see that captive nut. I'm hoping to get the oscillating tool under that and cut that off. Then I'll be able to slide that nut out and pull the bolt down. Holy cow, that actually worked. There we go. Here's what's left of that stud. And here's that captive bolt. This is what was so rusted up. It's only dumb if it doesn't work. And that actually worked. Alright, so the next task is to remove this bolt through this lower control arm bushing right here. Getting this nut off is going to be the easy part. Getting that bolt out, that's going to be the real challenge. So for the last half hour, I've been taking the pneumatic gun here and hitting this head of the bolt like so, just to rattle the rust that's in there. And then I've been taking my M18 impact, the 1/2 inch, and hitting this bolt. I finally got it to spin. That's exciting, because it wasn't moving when I first started. Now, of course, I gotta get that bolt out, and now that it's at least moving, at least I've got a fighting chance. So a strategy that's been working for me is I've been stacking wrenches on the back side of that bolt and using the wrenches as a wedge to pull the bolt out while I use the impact to spin the bolt. The problem was it was just spinning in the bore, and by doing this I've been able to get it out, and I think it's ready to come out. Got it. There we go. Well, here we are on the passenger side, and again, that nut popped off real easy. This side, I got the bolt spinning within 2 minutes. Check that out. Oh, it's even coming out too. Look at that. The bolt is out, geez, 1/2 inch now. Wow, let's see how far we can push our luck on that. 5 minutes, and I got that bolt out on this side. It took me 1.5 hours on the other side. I didn't even have to use the pneumatic hammer on this side. So here we are a week later. Next thing that needs to be done is this lower control arm needs to be knocked down. There is nothing holding it anymore. Here we've got that failed bushing, and here's where we took out that other bolt right back here. So I believe all that needs to happen is we need to smack this right here. Now we can swing this control arm around, and right here is the bushing. I'm guessing this bushing is on there pretty solid. Oh, maybe not. Ew, crusty. There we go. Cut into that a little bit, but oh well. We'll do better on the next one. I think this new bushing just pops on. And on the driver's side, there we go. These are the proper top lock nuts for this application. Top lock meaning the top of the nut is slightly pinched. So as it's threaded on, it threads on easy. But as soon as the last few threads start to grab, it actually starts grabbing the bolt, meaning this is a type of lock nut. This thread got slightly damaged pounding it in. So let's see if we can just file that to get it started. I think it's mostly just rust that actually got shoved in there. Let's see if that works. It is starting now. Still starting slightly crooked. Let's see if that works. Oh yeah, beautiful. Okay, I'm not gonna tighten this down completely yet. My understanding is you need weight on this whole control arm to clock the bushing just right. Otherwise it'll wreck the whole bushing. I'm not sure what this oil cooler's for, but I broke the bolts removing that cross brace. So I think I wanna pop this off and drill those out. Got these little clamps here that clamp on hoses and pinch them off. Yep, transmission fluid. Well, there's one out. Let's see if lightning strike twice. There we go. Whatever this mystery thing is, looks like this is actually supposed to pop in on this bracket. See, here's what I mean. This thing was just floating up here, but it looks like this bracket actually slides in right there. There we go, clipped right into place. So off camera, I drilled a hole in a piece of flat bar stock. This is gonna go up in the frame rail. I bought some new bolts, and on the passenger side, it's gonna get one of these lock nuts. I'm able to reach up in the frame with a wrench, and I'll be able to get this lock nut on there. The driver's side, I'm just gonna replace the bolt and hope that the nut up in the frame is still good. Don't know how far that's supposed to go, but hey, that looks good. Should have got the next size larger of these. Oh, it started though. These are grade 8.8. They should have been grade 10.9. I ordered these a week ago and they were supposed to be here 2 days ago, and they keep saying they're a day out, another day out. So enough's enough. This will be better than what was rusted out there before. All right, let's get the last of these little accessories mounted on. For these, I just picked up M6 bolts from the hardware store. All right, we should be done under here. The rear driver's side tire keeps going low, so let's pop that off real quick. Shouldn't be so hard to get a tire off. Really? So I got this homemade puller that I made for changing a belt on a skid loader once. Might try this. I don't know if it's gonna work or not. Nah, it's just bending the puller. This is too light duty. It came off. Yay! That was unnecessary. All of that. Looks like there is a screw in the tire right there, so that's why it's been leaking. I just called the tire place. They're gonna try to squeeze it in for me today, so I'm gonna go drop this off. So tire's back from the tire shop. They just removed a screw right there and they patched it for me. I'll check those before we go for a test drive. So we gotta take the caliper off. And as with everything, I bet that's frozen on. So there should be a bolt here and another one right here. We got a 7mm socket. Yep, that's it. All right, now this bracket needs to come off. Thought those were gonna be seized in there, just like everything else in this van. Well, that came out pretty good. Now the caliper bracket's free. And now the rotor just pops right off. I brought this new rotor outside and sprayed it down with brake cleaner. New rotors ship with oil on them to prevent rust. You can't have oil on brake rotors, otherwise when the brake pads squeeze the disc, they're gonna slip. I installed the new brake pad in the piston, and new brake pad just slid on the outside here. And then there's this weird little clip here. Not sure how it goes on. It looks like that. Yeah, right like that. All right, I'm gonna set the van down on these blocks. We still need to go underneath and tighten those lower control arm bushings. We have to do that with the full weight of the van down on the wheels. Perhaps a future project can be figuring out where this oil leak is coming from. I think it's coming from the valve cover up top. I don't think it's the oil pan cover, but man, it's all the way around it, so it could very well be, I guess. Guess it wouldn't hurt to try to tighten those quick. Nah, these feel plenty tight. I don't think it's the oil pan. Well, that's another problem for another day. You don't want to trust an ugga-dugga wrench to tighten up your lug nuts. All right, let's take this for a test drive. So there's potholes in the driveway here. Let's see how bad it rattles. No rattling this time. Well, there we go. We're at highway speed and everything seems to be smooth. Big test will be a sudden stop. Let's try that. No noise. Before you do that, and there'd be a lot of clunking up front. Nice and quiet now. And no jerkiness to the steering wheel either. All right, everyone, I'm gonna stop the video here fixing this van. There's always something that can be done to these older vehicles. The back doors, the automatic door openers no longer work. The blinker no longer shuts off when you turn the wheel back the other way. These are all minor things that on an older vehicle like this, just probably aren't worth fixing. Eventually I'd like to replace this van, but this will hopefully keep it on the road for another year. All right, let's go do something else. Take care.